Hi, hello, welcome, Doodle Crew. We're so happy to have you here. We finally made it. We did it through illness and weather and all of the things. We've made it. We've made it to the memorable music looks episode. Happy
That's
episode
right.
19. Hell yeah. So yeah.
I hope we kept our numbering, even though you've done other episodes
Oh, yeah.
since we initially were supposed to do this
Well,
one.
we were supposed to be like 14 or 11 or something. I don't know anymore.
Welcome to episode 11 of Doodle Crew.
Yeah, surprise. So this is great. I'm excited. So one of these faces you might know, you've seen on Doodle Crew before, but one of these faces is new. So in true Doodle Crew fashion, let's go around and tell the lovely people who you are and where they can find you across the internet.
Oh,
Mike,
that's
you
so
can go
nice.
first.
Oh, thank you, Swan. I was gonna.
Yay!
I just was jumping in here. My name is Mike Craniola. I am a futurexskeleton. That's my Twitter handle. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at futurexskeleton. The X is like a space, except you're not allowed to use spaces and handles. And so I put the X in there because I'm also an old straight edge man. One day I hope to be a skeleton, and so my Twitter handle is aspirational. I play on a 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons podcast called Adventure Incorporated. I also do a Swoon Tower soccer podcast with my wife Stephanie, and I'm every other Wednesday on twitch.tv/inaddpod. I am on a show with my very best friend on this episode, a swan named Emily.
Wow.
You can find us at In Addition Podcast.
It tracks. It tracks. I always thought it was future X skeleton, like you were going to be a skeleton and then you wouldn't be a skeleton anymore. And at that phase, after you've stopped being a skeleton, that's when you're an X skeleton. Yeah, but that would also be an X skeleton, right?
You're right. You're right.
Yeah. Sometimes I read it as exoskeleton, and then I just get very confused.
Future exoskeleton, like
future exoskeleton,
you, like a suit.
Crabification. Let's go.
And hey, if people want to hear more of your theories and more of your storytelling, Anthony, where can people find you?
Yes, I do a podcast called Adventure Incorporated, which is certainly not the podcast that Mike already mentioned. I do it with his wife, and it's a lot of fun. You'll really enjoy it if you don't already listen to it. I guarantee it, because I mean, like, it's what if I'm wrong? What are you gonna do? Nothing. So just try it, and then we'll see. We'll both see.
Tell them how wrong they are at Patreon.
Yeah, exactly. Patreon.com/Adventure Inc. My favorite part about the Patreon is that you can hear me not DM, which is as opposed to the regular show. So there you go.
Amazing.
That's right. You nailed that, Anthony. That was such a good intro.
I mean, if I weren't already listening, I'd be listening now.
You can tell how good a presenter you are for that.
Yeah. Yep.
I also realized we can do this now.
Oh,
and
we
Swan's
can.
art will be so big and cool.
That's much better.
Like us. Our faces are basically the same size now across the three of us here. So
I love it.
That's pretty neat.
I feel like I got to get closer to my camera because
do it.
You are very far away. Also, I like Steph said, I like the new specs.
Oh, yeah, these are blue light blocking glasses. They have zero. They changed my ability to see zero. They just block blue light.
I don't know where mine are, but I'm gonna put on Steph's.
That's not good over there. I'm gonna stay over here. Great. Are Steph's prescription though? Like
what? No, I'm just kidding. I could hear you fine. Glasses don't do anything.
Amazing.
So good.
So I'm assuming, Mike, you'd like to describe how you're going to proceed from here on?
Yeah, sure. So basically, Anthony and I are buffoons, and Emily Swan is an incredible artist, and she asked us to do an episode on music,
which is great. And my favorite part about that is that I don't listen to music, and I never have. So that's the best part about this, is that I have no expertise in either of these things, and that's going to be really great.
Yeah. So Anthony, literally the first time I met him and talked to him about music, he goes, I don't know. I don't listen to music. And When I heard that, I thought this man is a psychopath. He's gonna murder me. Oh my
Mike
god.
said, like in the morning? And I was like, no.
Ever? What? What? Like I still don't get it. I'm 38. I have known Anthony now for oh my god, too long.
Too long.
And
Too
15
long.
years or something, like a
Yeah,
crazy
that's
amount
accurate.
of
Yeah.
time. And I still don't get it. I don't understand how.
Yeah.
Like, what is
So
your
basically,
day like?
here's what I do. Anytime that you would listen to music, I
Uh-huh.
don't.
So what do you listen to?
Typically, I don't know if you've heard of these before, but you can download these things called podcasts, and they're basically people. I mean, just talking
Basically
about
people.
useless stuff. But I have a lot of those I listen to. I also really enjoy an audiobook from time to time. And that time to time is anytime you would be listening to music.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it. It's just people talking. I basically, I just listen to people talking.
All right. You know what? All right. Like that, to Tony's point, in your house, there is music.
Oh yeah, there's plenty of music in my house. So like if Mike, if right now you're like, hey, you ever hear of any of these songs from Encanto? I'll be like, yes. Yes, I've heard of all of those. Moana on lock. Frozen, nailed it.
Hebe, I don't get it either.
Yeah.
And honestly, some number of musical theater productions, I would know the music from those as well, and a few parody songs, just because they're funny and I think the writing is clever. I don't get the music part, but the writing is great. So then that's it. That's the end of the list.
Great. And so with this background, Swan said, you two are the perfect co-hosts for a music episode where I want to draw something related to music and you will pick what that thing is. And she gave us a bunch of like clues. And I talked to my friend Tony P. Henderson of the Tony P. Oddcast and In Addition podcast. And I came up with a list of kind of famous record covers that to me are really big deals. Some of them are very obvious though. And so when I was talking to Anthony today about how we would do this, he had an idea and I had an idea. And so we're going to do both ideas, Swan. We're going to do an A side and a B side today.
Oh, I love it.
But like my original idea was to show an image to Anthony, who would then have to describe it. So, for example, this doesn't count. This is just an example. So don't do this one, Swan.
Okay.
Unless you need to like warm up or whatever.
No, I'm
but
good.
I was
Ready.
going to share a picture like this to the screen. And then I was going to have Anthony describe this picture.
And I would say 4 computer programmers stand in a lineup. They've been picked up by the police. One of them is a perpetrator, and it's the one with the longest bangs.
And then, Swan, you would have to draw that. And while you were drawing, we would do this, and we would go back to you, and I would say facts about this record, and Anthony would ask questions, and we would just have a conversation watching you draw.
Okay.
So that's side A.
Okay.
Anthony, will you describe side B?
Yeah, for side B, I don't know any of these albums. So you showed those pictures of those 4 very fine-looking boys. I'm sure they're great. I don't know who they are. And so here's the second take would be that Mike tells me the band, and he tells me the name of the album. And then he describes to me things about this album and the songs that are on it. He says things like, oh, they're very angsty. They sing about that, maybe some tracks from some important facts about the album. And I will describe to you, Swan, what I think the cover art probably is. And
Ooh.
then you draw, you know, like from the elements of what I'm talking about, of the things that could be in the cover art, you draw the cover art, and then we'll put the actual cover art next to it and see how close we were.
Excellent.
Yeah. So for this example, I would say, you know, the band is Weezer and the album is the Blue Album. And now, Swan, the problem with this style is I'm sure in your head you already know what Weezer's Blue Album looks like. So I had
So
to
here's a
dig
better
little
one.
bit.
Here's an even better way then. Here's an
I
even
had to
better way.
dig a little bit deeper for Anthony's B-side, but I've
Okay.
got
You could
I've got
have
the perfect
also,
record.
you could have sent me the name of the album and the name of the band separately.
Ooh, do you want to do
And
it that
then-
way for your
and then
B-side?
just describe the
Okay.
tone, right? So that even the, you know, our viewers will not really know what album it is. They might have guesses as you're describing it, and as I describe elements of the thing. Yeah, I think this is the way to go for that
Okay,
part. For the
perfect.
B-side.
And Swan, I'm going to let you pick. Do you want to listen to the A side of the record first or the B side of the record first?
I'm going traditional. I'm going to listen to A side first.
All right, great.
Makes sense.
Anthony,
Yeah,
are you ready?
I am. I think for the A side, because I have less to do once we've established what's happening, right? I might try to draw this as well on this.
Well, so the
this.
difference is that Swan won't be able to see it. You will be able to see it, and you
I
will
bet
be
it will still
describing
be.
it.
I know it'll still be bad.
Sure.
Yeah, it'll still be worse by far.
Yes, Vineyard, there is only one doodler tonight.
Not anymore. Now there's two.
Well, there's one and a half doodlers tonight. And honestly, that's the way I like it. And so here we go. Side A. Swan, are you ready to not look at the screen?
I'm ready. I'm closing it off so I cannot see chat or anything anymore. So chat, if you're saying lovely things, thank you.
Someone
Perfect.
get a blindfold for Swan so we can make sure that
Well, no, she
There.
needs to be able to see the doodle that she's doing.
Maybe.
Oh, right.
Maybe.
Yeah.
She has to doodle it blindfolded. This is the
Side A plus.
Yeah. Oh, I've
right.
had to do that in the past. It's not easy.
What's going on, Limey? Welcome to the party. We are doing music today. This is here we go. We're kicking off with side A. It's going to say side B here. Ignore that, folks.
it's such the production value.
Absolutely.
So, Anthony, I want you to go ahead and describe what you're looking at here.
All right. So, okay. This appears
I can't see your faces either, which is just amazing. Okay.
All right. So, Swan, here's what I need you to picture.
Okay.
It is a summer day.
Mhm.
We're in a field, like a well-kept field, not like a overgrown field. This is like a track and field. Okay. And there is a hurdle set up that is in place for track and field. Jumping over this hurdle appears to be a series of mop heads glued together, like the heads of mops unscrewed from the handle and just smashed together into almost like the shape of a dog, like a dog made out of mop heads, let's say. And that's what I'm seeing. I can only assume, Mike, that this is just sort of like the indiest music you've ever heard, like just so much acoustic guitar that it's not even funny.
So it is a guitar based band. This is the 5th studio album by this American musician.
You can tell because like by the 5th, you're just like, I don't know, fucking grab these mop heads and throw them in the field and we'll just take a picture of it. And like, I don't know, guy, like we've got 8 more albums coming out, you know, I don't know.
And I will say that there are 3 massive singles on this record. I don't want to necessarily name them just yet because I'd like to see Swan get some work in here. And so Anthony, do you feel like you've fully established the information that you need to establish for Swan to work on this?
I can't imagine describing much more about this.
What about the title, like where the title and the like the artist name goes?
No,
Like, do you
boring.
want to do that?
No.
Okay.
Do it in post.
I expect Swan can find the best part of this composition to really improve upon this album cover based off the information that she has received. So if there's a better spot for it, she'll find it.
All right, great. Then I'm going to go ahead and I'm stopping sharing. Emily Swan, you can look at the chat again. You can look at the
Okay.
screen again. You can be a part of our friendship here now.
Yay!
Yeah. You should blow up her art again though, because that's the good part.
Yes, you're absolutely right.
There you
Anthony,
go.
I wish you were driving this.
I'm not
but
a
here we
daddy.
are.
We already
He's not.
established
Yeah,
that.
he's not a
You're right.
daddy. He can't drive.
You're right.
That's
You're right.
right.
You're right.
So I
So-
guess in seeing the initial sketch, Anthony, do you have anything that you would like to?
Yeah. How does this relate to music at all? That seems absurd. There isn't even a person on here. I don't think those mops are singing this. I hope not. That's not the case, right?
I
No,
mean,
there was that great Sesame Street song that's all moms.
I mean,
I was gonna say,
it
you
looked
know-
more like a Muppet than it did a human being. So,
listen, there are a lot of dogs that are used in record production. One of the most famous albums ever, Beach Boys' Pet Sounds, features a lot of barking dogs in it. So it wouldn't be,
hold on. I gotta be. So, wait. Hold on. Hold up,
yeah.
Mike. Just real quick sidebar. Can you just make it just?
Oh
just
yeah,
you
yeah,
and me
just
real
you and
quick?
me.
Yeah.
Just you and me. Hold on.
'Cause
Yeah,
I
let me figure
gotta
out.
ask you a question. I don't want
Yeah,
the
what's
audience
up?
to know.
Oh,
It's
that's too big of
embarrassing.
for me.
That was too
Okay,
big,
yeah.
too much you. All right.
Just
that
you and
wasn't
me
a
now.
real fucking dog, was it?
Yeah.
No, you're kidding.
Yeah, no, that's real.
I can't tell if you're no. So now we did the bit, and I can't tell if you're being serious or not
I
because
pinky swear.
that's a
I pinky
dog.
swear that's yeah. You nailed it.
What?
As Swan's back in here now. So play it cool.
Hey, Swan, don't worry about it.
Okay. I trust you.
So, okay. What? Just gonna know. Do you feel, Mike? You are familiar with this music.
Yeah.
Now you've seen this album and you associate it with this music in some capacity.
Sure.
Try and set yourself into a mindset where you're not so intimately familiar with these as a package deal.
Okay.
Do
okay.
you feel like this particular image really represents the feel of the album?
Honestly, I would like to show you a second picture.
Okay. All right. I'll take that.
Swan,
I will avert my eyes.
Yeah, will you avert your eyes? Because Anthony, I think this actually is a better representation of the record, and for the viewers, you will get a little bit of insight into the name of the record and the name of the artist because I didn't have time to fix this one.
All right.
But so this is the deluxe edition of that record.
Okay. Now usually I would say the deluxe, you would think the more like the better version. The only way this appears better to me is that they used more ink. So if you were like an ink salesman, you would be like, fucking deluxe. This is the top version of this.
Sure.
Yeah.
So this is
Hold on. I also have another
Yes.
question. This image has a portion of an orange sticker on it. Is that orange sticker part of the image, or is that a scan that happens to have this orange sticker on it?
So I honestly, Anthony, I think this is part of the image.
Oh my god.
So I don't have the deluxe version of this record. So I can't answer that definitively, but I am 99% sure that is part of the image.
That's like, hey guys, what if we pretended that this had a sticker on it. But let's leave the price off because we don't really want to like dictate the price here. And if the price
Well,
is
yeah.
lower than what we put on it, that's going to be very embarrassing. So
Well, and confusing.
yeah, and confusing. And we would like to make sales on this very deluxe record.
Yeah, Kruggles has done some research for us. It's on all the images in Google, so that is part of the.
Or
It's only one
all
picture.
the images in Google are of one album, that like one version of this album.
Yeah. Could be either.
Could be.
And so
Don't know. How
now
old's this
that our
album? Before the
listeners,
internet, pre-internet.
now that our listeners know what this record is, I'm gonna start. I feel like Swan's at a good enough place where when I say the successful singles off this record, it'll be too much work to go back and like change anything.
Oh
And
yeah, no,
so-
I'm not changing anything.
I don't know why
Uh,
you would. It
I'm-
looks like the same fucking cover already.
Yeah, I'm bringing to
So,
life Anthony's exact vision to get him into music. So
Yeah. Oh, well, I'm halfway there with this one. Let me tell you.
So the three most successful singles off this record are "Where It's At," "Devil's Haircut," and "The New Pollution."
Maybe it was a reference to Devil's Haircut. They were like, this dog has the devil's haircut,
which is,
which is
no
to say
haircut.
no haircut at all.
Yeah,
Sure.
fight the establishment.
And so this isn't this is probably this artist's most famous record, I would guess.
I've not heard of any of these songs, just to start out with.
So you will have heard of the artist, though, Anthony. I almost
I know.
guarantee it.
I know of this artist, and I'll tell you how I know of this artist.
I'll tell you how you know. It's Scott Pilgrim.
It's Scott Pilgrim. That's the only way I know of this artist. Yeah, he did the music for Scott Pilgrim versus the World, and that's how I know this artist.
And Swan, do you have a guess now what you're drawing?
I don't know what I'm drawing, but I think I'm drawing something by Beck.
That's correct. So, I know this isn't a
Zero
game
point.
show.
Yep,
It felt
I
game
didn't draw.
showy in the moment, right?
did.
Like it
It
felt
did.
like ding, 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 ding. You know.
And I'll tell you,
point.
it was not until you mentioned Scott Pilgrim that I knew it, because I don't know his albums or his names of his songs. So thank you for that.
Great. So when I showed this to Tony P. Henderson, he said, "This one's too easy." He said, "Odelay by Beck is too common a record. Everyone's going to know what it looks like."
Well, I would say that since Swan didn't know what it looks like, all the greater was my description, because this is a perfect.
Yeah, let's pull
recreation.
hers up here now.
Yeah.
So-
Swan, this is really, really freaking good.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. it looks
Are
great.
you ready to see the actual? Oh yeah, you got to put the title and the artist. So it's the title is Odelay,
Like, can you spell-
Odelay.
Is that the name of the dog?
I don't think it is. The name, let's see. I bet we've got the name of the dog in this Wikipedia article. I can tell you that the original photo was shot by canine photographer Joan Ludwig for
Oh.
the July 1977 issue of the American Kennel Club's Gazette.
It wasn't even his pick. Like, he didn't take a picture for this album. He just like trolled through a magazine and tore one out and threw it on his album. That's lazy.
Yeah.
And the sticker of the orange just came off of an orange that he was eating. Like,
No. It was an orange price tag, but not like a foreign orange. The color of the price tag was orange.
So the name of the dog, or the name of the breed of dog, is a Commandor, aka a mop dog or a Hungarian sheepdog. I don't know if we have a photo. The name of the dog. It does not look
So
like
it could be Odelay.
The dog could be named Odelay.
All right.
And so, honestly, Anthony, you asked, does this picture represent the music behind the record? And I would say yes. It feels like a crazy record. Today we were listening to it, and Steph said, "Who put that sound on a record? How dare they?"
So this is like a real experimental phase for Beck. Is
It's
that what?
it's like an indie rock album. Overarching, I would say the genre is like indie rock, but then there is, there are bits of folk and country and electronic music sounds, old school rap like vibes. There's bossa nova, Latin soul, like there's all sorts of stuff in this record all mixed in. And so, Swan, I want to show you the album cover that you have drawn because I think we're at the point now to show side B.
Yeah.
Or show side A and get started on side B here. And so this is the album.
Aww.
And so you're pretty damn close.
Yeah,
Yeah.
real close.
If you flip this, you're basically there.
Yeah.
That still doesn't look like a dog to me, by the way.
But your descriptions were so good.
I mean, if you told, like, it looks like a dog insofar as like it's vaguely dog shaped, but if you were like, this was made by the Jim Henson Company for Beck, I'd be like, yeah, that tracks. I see that. That's not a living creature.
I don't know. I think it's all right.
I mean, it's fine. I don't want to cast aspersions on the dog. I'm just saying it looks ridiculous.
Wow. I don't want to cast aspersions, but it looks ridiculous.
Feels like a very Beck thing.
Sure.
Yeah.
Excellent.
I
Anthony.
assume I don't know anything about Beck except for that one Ramona song. That's it. That's all I ever heard from him. So, I mean, I heard the other things he wrote, but not anything he performed. So,
Oh, also, I want to show you Swan, the deluxe edition that Anthony is so enamored of.
no, that's incorrect. I hate this.
Oh gosh. I like that very little.
Yeah.
No,
There's a whole vibe. You see the pen
there is a vibe. No,
yeah,
you
there's a
are
real like middle school board
Doodle
vibe.
trapper
Yeah, yeah.
keeper.
Yeah. We've all been here. Is all I'm trying to say. Like all of us have done this to something at one point in our lives.
All right.
Anthony,
Yeah, but I kept the price tag intact.
I'd like to see your version of Beck's Odelay.
I didn't end up doing it because you were right. It didn't make much sense. I could just physically see it. but maybe for side B, that'll make sense. I don't
I just
know.
wanted to see you draw a dog.
Well,
Yeah, what do you got?
Okay, well,
Or a
buckle
vaguely
up.
dog-shaped thing. Remember, it doesn't have to look like a dog.
I know. Hold on.
Lost Limey, that's an excellent point. I like that.
The vibe is Lisa Frank voodoo. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that it has to look like a dog because theirs didn't look like a dog. All right, I'm gonna see how close. Like, see if this I can get this to.
Wow.
Oh, that's excellent. I
That's
love
it.
it.
There you go.
Nailed
You're
it.
better than you let on, Anthony.
Go
I'm
ahead,
very
Beck.
upset.
Eat your heart out, Beck.
Coming for you for his next album design.
All right, Anthony. So how do you want to do side B here?
You have sent me the name of an artist
Yes.
and the name of the album.
yes.
I have them already.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask you some questions.
Okay.
And
okay.
I'm going to then say some elements that I suspect might be a part of this album cover.
Okay.
And then Swan can just do what Swan does. And I'll just keep asking more stuff about this. Okay.
Great.
So,
how do we want to reveal the name of this to the listeners, or do we not want to?
I don't think I want to. I think I
Okay.
want them to guess.
Okay.
I want them to play along at home. If
You hear that, listeners? Start putting in your guesses now.
Yeah, I would like to see whatever your guesses are now before we start. This is the peak time. We really blew my camera off getting too close to it with that thing.
You made it mad.
Yeah.
Now we just get to see how pale Anthony really is.
That's right. Let's see if I can fix that at all.
Ooh,
No.
okay. We got Men Without Hats, The Safety Dance. We got the White Album, Deicide, self-titled record. We got some great guesses in the chat already, y'all.
Great
Fifth
ones.
of Daybreak,
Great
Captain
guesses.
Hygiene, Lost Limey. We got I Want to Be a Lifeguard is the guess from VO by Kurt. I don't know. I want to be a lifeguard.
I would guess, but I already know the answer. And so I feel like that would be
A
unfair.
Blotto
So
record, Kurt?
here's the first thing I'm going to do. All right. Here's the first vibe I'm going to give you,
'Kay.
Emily. And then I'll ask Mike some more questions and then we can go from there.
Okay.
You know those drawings by Da Vinci of like a person and you get like cross sections,
The
you know?
Vitruvian Man. Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, that's where I'm starting at.
Okay.
Mike.
Okay. Love
So, which album was this?
This is this artist's 6th album.
6th album. Okay, so they're
Yes.
prolific,
Yes.
right? How
very.
old is this album? How old is this album?
This record came out. Fun fact, actually, you're gonna love this, Anthony. This record came out on September 11th, 2001.
it. Oh boy.
I will never forget the day this record dropped.
Why?
It was a bombshell. It was explosive. It
Oh no.
wow, leveled
so-
me.
Interesting fact to this. Now I'm going to ask you a real esoteric question that probably won't help at all. Do you feel like, because obviously there was a cultural shift that occurred September 11th, 2001, does this feel like a pre 9/11 record?
Yes.
Okay.
Great question, and yes.
Okay. So I'm going to say, all right, and along with Vitruvian Man, I'm going to say that there's some bragging happening on this cover. This is the 6th album of a famous musician. They're prolific. There's a short period of time from the beginning of their career to this 6th album comparatively, right? So I'm going to say stacks of money to just show how how successful they've been.
Okay.
All
Yep.
right. How many hit songs are on this? Like
God.
like chart toppers.
Yeah. I would say at least 4.
Ooh, okay. All right.
And then there were like 2 or 3 other singles so there were 4 total singles. 3 of them, 2 of them are like all-timers.
Okay. All right.
And there's a non-single on this that like launched a career into superstardom.
What's the difference?
You could argue that there are 2 of those on this record, actually.
What's the difference between a single and a not single?
So a single is a release by the record label as either a music video or a standalone release that like the song was written for the record, and then they pressed this song separately to sell it as a one-off thing. They're not really in 2023. There's not really this like culture of singles anymore because everything's streaming all the time. And so many artists are doing a music video for every single song on
It
their
feels like
record,
a missed
right?
opportunity not to, right? It feels like, because personally, if you tell me like, hey, I wrote these 10 songs, these 4 I made music videos for, I'm like, okay, so these 6 are trash. Is that what you're trying to say? Like you just don't have any faith or confidence in these 6 songs you wrote?
Tony P also calls out that singles are pushed on the radio and marketed.
Okay.
As opposed to, like I put out 12 songs. You're going to only hear the other 10 like once you've bought the record.
Oh, so do you hold the
You
best
hold
one
them back. Yeah.
Like you put out the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th best as your singles, and then you're like, but this one, just wait.
There
till you
are a
get
lot
the
of
album
strategies
and
to
hear
it,
track
right?
5, baby.
So like if I'm a brand new artist, I'm putting my best song out as my single.
Well, yeah, you gotta, right?
Right.
You're
But if it's my 6th studio record, maybe I keep the best tracks for the record so that you have to buy them.
That's cool.
And
I actually kind of like that. That's some good
it's
strategy
pretty
in
neat.
there.
It's pretty
And then
neat.
you kind of like tip your hand as to where you think you are in your career, You're like, I think at this point I'm a hold back my best guy. And the record label's like, a pal, you're not a hold
You're not
back
there
your
yet.
best.
Yeah.
We're gonna put your best out there. Sorry.
Yeah.
Maybe one day. But no, today is not that day. Okay, so there's 4 singles you said, and then 2 other songs that really launched careers.
Yeah.
2 different careers.
Yes.
Okay,
And I
so
mean, this is debatable, but like, it's a debate I like to have. So I'm sticking to my guns on that statement.
so what I'm hearing is that this is a musician with friends.
Oh yeah,
So I would say, Vitruvian Man, and then over their left shoulder, Vitruvian Man again, and then over their right shoulder, Vitruvian Man, almost like a multiplicity thing, just like Vitruvian Man all the way back. That's something I'm picturing as I think about this album. So now the album has, I don't want to say too much about the name of the album, right? Because I don't want to spoil it completely. But there's an element of like sort of cockiness to this album.
Yeah.
Is the music, does that come through in the music too?
Oh yeah, for sure. I would say this is the sweet spot in this artist's career. Like, they know exactly who they are. They've been very famous up to this point, and their first 5 records have done very well for them. They were getting clapped back at a little bit, and so this record came out as like a gigantic fuck you to the haters, you know?
Okay. So gold. They are emblazoned in gold, right? Because you're not like wearing gold, they are made of gold, because you have to say like, I'm the best, and therefore I'm gold, right? Okay. Now you say clapback. I know there's so this album has would this be considered a rap album? Would it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of rap culture right around
Yes.
like infighting is a thing.
Yeah, and actually that's a really good point. This folks in the scene say that this is probably the last great beef. Like, this record, it has examples of the last great beef in hip hop.
Okay. So then what I suspect also, right? Whatever this person's rival, right? Whoever they're really beefing with, that person's last album that was popular, like some element or signal from that album is on this album cover, but like squashed, So like all I can picture is like if the last person's album was like a tennis racket, then there's like a mangled tennis racket, or if their last album was like a picture of a piece of like a full cake or whatever, there's just like a smear of cake on the ground, right? So like something about the last album is just like, fuck this guy, right?
Okay,
That's what
give me a second, and Swan, don't look.
Nope, hang on. Also, the way you started that, all I could hear was, okay, give me a persuasion check.
Wrong direction, wrong person.
Yeah. Anthony, I'm going to pull up let me double check the timing on this release.
Yeah, the last one before that.
Yeah, exactly. Oh yeah, this is okay. Here we go.
You need live masking for the title. It's fine.
I know. So Swan, don't look.
Don't look, Swan. Don't look.
Not even looking at the art.
This is his rivals, one of his rivals' last records before this record. Like, so there are a few people that he beefs with on this record, but this is his primary beef.
Okay, so a baby in a hood. That's what I'm thinking. It's a baby in a hood.
Okay, so that helps, right, Anthony, to know what that person's
totally, because
main rival's last record looked like.
Undoubtedly, I mean, if you're gonna bring it up, you gotta make sure they know from the get go. Hey, this album isn't for you. It's
Tony P has a question in chat, Anthony. It says, "Why does baby in a hood sound racist?"
I don't know, Tony. I feel like you're bringing a lot to the table here, buddy. I'm just talking about a baby wearing a hoodie. That's all.
Hebe says not to be confused with a baby in the hood. And
Hey,
also,
hey, look.
because it does. So that's where we're at. Anthony, careful. That's
All
a
right,
that's a
yeah.
yellow card. You know what I mean?
It's a yellow
That's
card, I guess. You're right.
that's a
I don't
warning.
know how. I'll try to do better. I'm sorry. Okay. So this album comes out. They know it's going to be big. The studio expecting to make a lot of money on this.
Yeah.
Yes. All
Oh
right.
yeah.
Oh yeah. So I assume that this is the kind of album that parents don't want you to listen to.
Define whose parents, but yes, likely
Like
yes.
me, like
We'll
I
go with
like the
yes.
people, the target audience's parents. Honestly, like in
Yeah,
this era,
probably
right?
yes.
Yeah. Okay. So like
Although I
definitely.
will say this, I will say that this artist, for whatever reason, is pretty universally liked
Okay. All right.
by a lot of different groups of people at this time. But certainly the people who implemented the parental advisory warning would not want you to listen to this record.
All right. So I just want to point out, I think that there's got to be something on this album that's just a little bit edgy, right?
Oh,
It's just
guaranteed.
like, yeah. Just hair over the line so that when it's on the shelf at Walmart, and the high schooler is walking by, they're like, oh, hello. And their parents are like, well, I never.
So
And
this
then,
record does feature this artist's angriest song.
oh, angriest song.
And so you're right, in that there is like the most like violent turn this artist has ever had is on this record.
Okay. All right. So I guess a knife, just like a knife. But like a Paul Hogan Australian knife. That's what I think is,
Crocodile
you really
Dundee. Anthony,
yeah.
will you please
Yeah.
use his real
I was
name?
like, I'm sorry, who?
Jeez.
Yeah, a Crocodile Dundee knife. I feel like I think those are all the elements that are really important to this album as far as I'm
Captain
concerned.
Hygiene says, "Oh, a knife."
No.
No.
Thank you, Hygiene. Thank you.
All right, I think we're ready. You know,
I
You
also
think?
like that Anthony's like, yeah, I think I gave you enough. And enough was 3 Vitruvian men. By one of, famous artists. But yeah, I think you gave me enough.
I think I gave you enough. I think I gave you everything you needed to really nail this album. I can't imagine us being off on this one.
No, I think
Yeah, Swan. How do you feel about us saying the name of the record and the artist
good
while you continue to do art?
because
here?
we're too far in now. I'm not going back. I'm not.
That's
It
what I'm
looks
saying.
like, did you build a throne of money? Because that's
Yes,
what
I
it
did.
looks like. Oh,
And then
that's
because you
cool
said it
as
was
hell.
damaged on one side, so the other side is like it's burned and charred for the
Yeah,
throne.
I
so.
love that. If they aren't sitting on a throne of money in this album cover, they fucked up.
Yeah.
Because that's cool as hell.
So this album that I brought was Jay-Z's The Blueprint.
Oh.
And so while Swan continues to draw, we
Yeah.
won't share what it looks like. We will just talk more about the record a little bit because like one of the things about me is that for a very long time, Jay-Z was my favorite artist.
Is this like
And-
when we did Pokedexpert and every time we talked about a
It's your
Pokemon?
favorite
it was your
Pokemon?
No, this is
this is my favorite artist.
so legitimately, Anthony, all through all of my Spanish, like my Spanish literature courses, every chance I got, I referred to Jay-Z lyrics, like to make connections with the stories that we were reading about these fantastic tales from the Southern Cone or whatever, right? Like it would be
Okay,
like,
all
oh,
right.
In The Immortals by Borges, it reminds me of this Jay-Z line, right? Like, and just I would do stuff like that all the time. And my professor loved it. He was like, honestly, there's probably a thesis here if you wanted to do that. And I said, no. because I didn't need to do it. Jay-Z Luis Borges. Exactly.
Man, I'm just saying, Golden Vitruvian Man sitting on a throne of cash feels like this needs, like, I'm real in on this idea. It's really good.
So this record, Anthony,
Yeah.
featured the tracks Izzo, Hova, which
Izzo
is
what?
his name. Hova was like
Oh.
what he called himself. And that was
Okay.
the #1 single from this record. So to
Did
your
he print
point
it?
of like,
What did he print it on the front as what he called himself?
what do you mean?
Like, was this record by Hova?
No. Like Hova is like one of his nicknames. He has a lot of nicknames. He's a pretty
He has
famous guy.
many.
Jay-
Well, I know who he is.
Jehovah.
This one I know who he is. Okay,
Anthony, I don't know if you're listening. He called himself Jehovah.
I get it. I get that. That's the name of God. I get that.
Yeah.
So, but like, how many nicknames and how many nicknames are them like? So, you know, when someone has a nickname because they do a thing and they earn a nickname, and then someone has a nickname because they gave it to themselves, you know, like how many of these are nicknames he gave himself?
I wouldn't ever ask.
Okay. All right.
But I will say one of his other nicknames, which was single #3 on this record, was Jigga.
For a second, I thought you were going to say his other nickname, single #3.
I thought so
And I
too.
was like-
You said it. I was like, okay, that one I didn't know.
Did he earn that on the dating game? Like what? Where did this come about?
You've chosen single #3.
And so that's single #3 is Jigga. Single
Okay.
#2 on that record was Girls, Girls, Girls. And the
Was
fourth,
that also one of his nicknames?
that was not one of his nicknames.
All right. So they
But-
weren't all named after him.
No. But they were all named by him.
Right. Well, I mean, that would be sure.
Well, all but one, actually.
Oh, okay. Which one?
So remember how we had talked about this record being a jumping off point for a couple of other artists' like careers?
Yes.
One of those artists was Eminem.
Oh, okay.
The
And he
rapper
named-
Eminem, Marshall Mathers, features on this record. It's the only feature on the record.
Okay.
And it's the song Renegade.
All right.
And Renegade was a song written by Marshall and Royce the 5'9", who was another rapper. But they didn't use the song in their collaboration. And so Jay-Z wanted to do his own verses on this song as well. And so
like they were like, we wrote this, but it's not really good enough for us.
Well, no,
And he was
so-
like, good enough for me.
You want some background on that?
Yes,
Royce's record label wouldn't let him have 2 Eminem songs on one record because they didn't want to pay him the royalties for it.
It's just too much Eminem. It's like,
Yeah.
I feel that way. Sometimes I get a whole handful. And
it's too much?
Yeah, like a few M&Ms I'm in, but like there is a point where there's too many M&Ms.
Sure, that makes sense. I understand
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So
this one showed up here instead.
yeah, and so Eminem and Jay-Z have a song together called Renegade. A
Mhm.
lot of people say that Eminem's verse on this song is like one of the best verses that's ever been written in hip hop, and is definitely one of the best verses on this entire record, which is crazy because
that
this
sucks
record,
if you're Jay-Z.
right? Well,
If you're
yeah, like this record is arguably Jay-Z's best.
And then you're getting upstaged by the
By
guy you
this
asked to come
kid.
hang out.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, that's kind of shitty. I feel bad for him now. I feel like the cover of this is just Eminem, and he was like, "Fuck!" Like he just like got like the marketing guys were like, "Sorry, this is the good one. We're gonna put Eminem on the front." And then so you said this launched 2 careers though. There was another one.
Yeah. So the other one,
Yeah.
at the time, there was this young producer that Jay-Z was hanging out with.
Mhm.
He's a kid from Chicago. He was starting to do some work with Macy Gray. He was starting
Barack
to do some
Obama.
work, yep, with some other folks. But
That's the only
then
person I know from Chicago.
this song, Heart of the City, came out, produced by Kanye West.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
So thanks for that, Jay-Z. That's
Listen, there was a long time between 2001 when this record was released and where we are now.
All right. I believe you. Okay. Well, there you go. This feels like an important moment in music history. Could really only be captured by a baby in a hood and a large knife. I feel like
Let's forget
there's
about the
no
baby.
question.
I forgot the baby.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
to get to the beef part, right?
Yeah, the beef. Where's the
Jay-Z
beef,
and
Mike?
Nas,
Where's the
yeah.
beef?
Classically asked of this album.
Jay-Z and Nas have one of the like most famous
Is this
hip-hop
Little
beefs.
Nas's dad?
No, this is just unrelated to Lil Nas X. Just
This
a
is
guy
a totally
named Nas.
different Nas.
Yeah, different
Okay.
Nas, no relation.
No relation.
Just like you and Tony P. Tony P isn't your dad, even though
Is he not?
Oh no.
No, me and
Okay.
Swan are. Pay attention.
All right, I'm sorry, I forgot. You're right.
We're the daddies.
That's right.
The same situation here is what we're dealing with. So Nas and Jay-Z are beefing, they're feuding, they're going back and forth. And Jay-Z buries him on this record with a song called The Takeover. And it's just between the lead, like the number one track on the record is called The Ruler's Back, and then the number two song is called Takeover, and it just crushes him. He spends
So
like
this is what I gotta ask you about this, because I didn't listen to this. I haven't heard it. I don't really understand how that works. Like does he tell an embarrassing secret about Nas?
actually yes. So on
Okay.
this record, like Jay-Z basically is like, yo, I showed you your first gun and you rap all about how hard you are all the time.
Ooh.
And so like kind of, yes.
He
Anthony.
kind of did. He kind of
Yeah.
did tell him an embarrassing secret. All right.
But usually it's just bragging about how much more money you make or how much better your rhymes are, or like you show off, right? You do something something cool, you know.
Okay, so like, does anyone ever come back like, well, that's just like your opinion, man?
That hasn't been a track yet, but that doesn't, you know, there's still time.
All right. Well, I just feel like, some of this doesn't seem substantial in terms of like a real diss, I guess.
Sure.
But,
And I think one of the differences too is that like a lot of diss tracks are pretty straightforward. They're pretty like calling someone names or like making fun of how poor they are or whatever. And they're not really like songs. And the takeover is like a whole ass real song, you know.
So there's maybe some value in that too. Like, I like how much effort I put into hating you.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you have to be kind of complicit in a diss track for it to affect you? Like, do you have to be sort of like, do you have to accept, yeah, I got beaten, I'm down for that?
So like you would think that, right? But then Nas came out with a track where he just called Jay-Z like a bunch of homophobic slurs, and everyone at the time in 2001 was like, yo, what a fire track. But like now with the benefit of hindsight and time, everyone's like, oh, that was kind of lame. That wasn't good. Like
that wasn't that good.
And Jay-Z like just never responded to it because he was like, no, that wasn't good.
Right.
Which honestly it's like,
that seems like the best way to do it. That seems like
that's a pretty good burn. Like you put out a great song and then like they come back with something and you're like, that wasn't even worth responding to.
Yeah.
Like let me know when you write a good
dog.
Yeah, let me know when you write a good diss track. Like
that makes sense to me. Hey, I'm just saying, it sounds to me like the best way to respond to a diss is to not respond at all. And then that's what anytime anyone's ever written a diss track about me, that's what I've done.
Maybe you are a dad.
Like,
that's a pretty dad thing to do, you know?
Yeah.
Pretty dad thing to say too.
I don't know if you like, I don't want to ruin your illusions but yes, I am. That is true.
What?
Wow. You heard it here first on Doodle Crew, folks. Anthony.
Yeah, so what I like about this baby is that quite literally it is a Lil Nas. So
yes, Steph Kruggles in the chat says okay, but that's the cutest little baby.
Honestly, the
it's a
best
cute
part.
baby. It's a cute baby. I think that Swan has done a fantastic job capturing what the essence of what I imagine based off this, what we've talked about with this album. And I would really love to see the actual album cover so that I can know how much better Swan's rendition is than whatever was generated in 2001, which now I'm thinking might be like an MS Paint, like just like a white box that just says like the blueprint or something, like it's somewhere between the two, I bet.
Let me.
Those are the only. That's the range. It's either MS Paint or Vitruvian Man.
Yeah, one somewhere in between.
Those are the two art styles Anthony knows.
Yeah.
So give him some credit here.
I'm very proud of you, Anthony.
Or maybe it's from the Baroque period.
What's that differentiation?
It's from the Renaissance. In which case there's a spiral involved. I don't know. All right, okay, so let's see. Hold on. There are some elements that are similar here. First of all, both of them have microphones visible.
Oh, yep.
That is true.
He is
they
sitting
both
on
got
something.
microphones.
Yep.
It's clearly like a luxe desk, right? It's got that leather kind of padding to it. So
see all the shoes? Those are his friends.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
That's a good call, Anthony.
Yep. It's not a knife, but he is smoking something that your mom would be mad about in 2001.
Sure.
Right? It looks like it's a cigar. That's fine. You're in middle school at a Walmart, not acceptable.
Sure.
I would say no stacks of cash. I'm disappointed by the lack of money throne. I feel like he's got a leather throne, which doesn't feel like it has the same oomph as a money throne.
No, but he is giving off a lot of confidence.
That's true. Yeah. And I will say that, in hindsight, the baby version of Nas is maybe too direct. It feels like he had a much more elegant way of dealing with that situation, that maybe I was overzealous in thinking that would be present on the album.
Yeah, I gotta say, Anthony, you definitely the Nas disc on the record cover was a miss.
Yeah.
For
Do
sure.
you think that he intended for there to be multiple versions? Because it's 2001, so like Pokemon just came out. That like maybe there was going to be the red print and the blueprint, and they would each have a separate song that was version exclusive that you would have to trade between the two albums, because he just colored the whole thing blue,
so that you knew.
Which I feel like was maybe a literal version of Blueprint, right?
Sure. Yeah, I was surprised that you didn't go with some sort of Blueprint style.
Or say the word blue.
Well, so that's I thought saying the word blue would be too much, right? And I thought that when I thought about Blueprint, right, I was thinking like, this is where the Vitruvian Man came from, because I was thinking like, I am the example of a human being. I'm the blueprint, which I assume is the actual intention of the album title.
Yeah.
In which case
it's like the blueprint he's following the blueprint on this record is really what it's saying. Because
interesting. I would have thought he was saying, I made the fucking blueprint. Here it is.
Sure.
You follow me from now on because I'm the best, right? That's what I was picturing.
The reason that I think it's the way that I explained it and not the way you explained it, although it could be either, right? That's the beauty of these things. Jay-Z has never come out and said, this is what I meant when I named it the Blueprint.
Call him.
Okay.
Call him and
Mr.
ask
Carter,
him, because I'm curious.
You got a minute?
Yeah.
Actually, Sean, if you're listening to this or watching this on demand later, like, will you
is
just
that
leave
another
a comment?
nickname of his, Sean?
That's his first name.
That's the least interesting nickname he has.
It's not a nickname. That's just his name.
You have to talk to his mom about that.
Well, fine.
I wouldn't bring that up. She likes the name Sean. It's
Well,
it's
so
important to her.
yeah,
I wouldn't bring it
yeah.
up to her.
So
Like
maybe
she
you could
raised Jay-Z. You know what I mean? Like
maybe you could ask her, like,
I won't.
okay, you love Sean as a name. I love Sean as a name. We both wish he just went by Sean. Which of his nicknames do you think he made up himself? And then like just see if she knows which ones he made up.
So what we were talking about the name The Blueprint before you.
Yeah.
before
You
took me
said
down
why
this.
you thought it was your way. Why do you
Yeah.
think it's your way?
And
That
so
he's
I
following the blueprint.
Yeah, I think he's following the blueprint because this was a time where hip hop was moving away from samples. Like samples were starting to fall out of favor because it was getting super expensive to license all these musics.
Would that be something
Because-
like the Amen break? Would that be?
That's a good one. Yeah, good
Okay.
sample, Swan. Good
Thanks.
pull. And so like a lot of artists recently had been getting into trouble using samples and not paying for them. And so now sample licensing was becoming its own crazy business. So a lot of people were like getting money from just licensing samples. And so a lot of hip hop artists started moving away from samples into unique kind of airsats beats, right? Like their own bespoke beats for each song instead of pulling back these old samples and like moving them and like highlighting those old songs.
I feel
On
like
the blueprint,
the whole world was moving away from samples.
Yeah.
Like free samples in 2001. Like just way less common than they were before that.
Sarku Japan held strong though. Mall food courts never let it go, baby.
So many samples.
But to that point, like Jay-Z said, no, like one of the things I love most about hip hop is reinventing all these old songs. And so on this record, so many of the songs are these old soul samples reused and with beats behind them that like change, the way that you feel about these songs. Like he sampled the Jackson 5 on this record, which could not have been cheap, right?
No.
And so at that point, Jay-Z was like, I don't give a shit. I'm gonna do the hip hop thing.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna stay true to the art form. And so that's why I think he's following the blueprint as opposed to like thematically he does say in the record basically he's setting up the future of hip hop, right? Like that's his plan. Is that like
that sounds
he's
like
going
he
to,
said he was creating the blueprint then. I mean, I'm just saying.
Like also
Sure.
the thing that's more interesting to me is the I'm following the blueprint like subplot of that. So
Interesting.
got
we can
layers.
both be right.
We can be where I think we are. I think you and I, experts of music criticism over the years,
That's right.
have proven that everyone can bring an opinion to the table and be correct.
Swan, what do you think?
I think that I was pretty sure that this was an album not made by a white guy pretty early on, but I was committed to trying the Vitruvian Man, and it felt very, very dangerous.
Sure.
I think the Vitruvian Man is the blueprint for people, is what I was thinking. Is that
I don't know, somehow that made it worse.
if you were to draw people, right? If you were to create a person, you would use a blueprint, and that was the most
it's a well-known one.
image.
It's
Yeah,
a well-known blueprint.
it's an image of a person like getting made. Like this album made Jay-Z is what I'm trying to say.
You might dig yourself out of this if you just keep talking. So I'm just gonna watch.
All right. Well,
yeah.
Let me just say that I think I've not heard any of the songs on this album. And so this was
Streaming HR has they'd like to talk to you, Anthony.
Oh boy. Well, I I will say that I think that Swan's rendition is beautiful, and I
Aw,
think
thank
that
you.
switching it to blue made it more accurate.
Yes.
But it still has a throne of money, and I think that that's the greatest image. That's what I think.
I mean, throne of money and baby. Like
Well,
that's
look at
where I
that
really
baby.
just look.
Look at little Nas.
Speaking of babies, I did want to share this. This was the original side A that I wanted to do,
Ooh.
and Steph said it was too obvious, and we absolutely could not do this because everyone would know right away.
Oh boy.
And
So-
so you will note that I did blur out for Twitch the inappropriateness here.
You're welcome, Twitch.
Yeah.
Thank
Twitch,
you.
YouTube, you're welcome. Swan, you're also
Thank you.
welcome.
Mostly thank you for me.
Who knows
If you had
what's
done
back there?
this, if you had done this as a B-side, I would not have gotten close.
Yeah, but Swan would have known right away.
Yeah, that
Would
one
you
I
have?
would have known. Yes.
I mean, but I didn't tell you the name of the album or the name of the artist, so I would have been like just asking vague questions, and then like,
Oh,
Well,
yeah, the
that's
way
true.
we ended up doing it, we could
Yeah.
have done this.
what is the
Yeah.
album name? I know this is Nirvana. What's the album name for this one?
Anthony?
Okay. Yes.
Anthony?
Yeah.
Never mind. Never mind. We're just going to move on.
Okay. I'll do my best.
Chat wants you to move on too.
Wow, everyone's just telling me to move. Okay, fine. I won't pay attention to it. Fine.
Lost
I don't
Lemmy
care
says,
what the name
Never
is.
mind. Vineyard
right.
Warrior says, never mind. Anthony,
All right. All right.
drop it.
I didn't know it was a secret.
Drop
Okay?
it.
I didn't realize this was like some music secret that I've stumbled onto, that like it's a big bit to not reveal it. That's fine. I get it. It's a great joke, everybody. Not very accessible for people who are not already into it, but okay. Sure. I'm just saying, I suspect there's no way that had I not seen the image, right?
No, that's true, because I would have. So maybe that's how we get around really well-known ones, because
Yeah. We'll
it
do
runs
that
it
next
through
time.
the Anthony translator, and I will probably have no idea.
I would not
what
have.
happened.
I never would have. Like, I don't think that I would have been like, describe the music to me. Oh yeah, a naked baby swimming in a pool, grasping for money on a string. Like, there just is no way that would have been how I would have like translated your answers to those questions. I can't imagine.
Except now that's the only answer.
No matter what you say, because like if you're like, if you pick like, I don't know, some sort of country singer and you're describing things to me, I'm just gonna be like, yes, naked baby in a pool.
Baby. Oh.
Yeah, this would have been
Amazing.
that. You're right. That would have been a really good side.
Well, hey, what I will throw out to you is chat, and those of you watching afterwards, if you like this and want more of this, let us know. I'll bring them
Please,
back.
let us
We'll
know.
do it again.
If this
Let us know what parts you liked specifically.
yeah, that'd be great.
Oh, Lost Levy, that's so good. Oh, that was amazing. Thank you both for doing this. Thank you for coming on Doodle Crew and drawing along with me and hanging out.
You're welcome.
I
I'm
love
gonna
it.
frame that dog photo.
Please do.
I feel like it's
Please do.
You nailed it.
nailed it.
Also, I can't wait to buy you that record for your birthday, Anthony.
The one with the dog on it.
Yeah.
I probably won't listen to it, but it's fine.
Actually, I was just thinking about it. You should listen to hip hop. If
Okay.
all you like doing is like listening to people talking, maybe
It's
talking
kind of
quickly
that.
with like rhythmic backing, everyone will be happy.
Yeah.
Maybe.
And if there's like intense lore and drama, like a wrestling storyline, you know what I mean? Like I could make you mixtapes of beef,
Oh,
like, and you might actually get into hip hop that way.
Oh my
I
gosh,
might. I
love
might do
this.
it. I could. I probably won't. But who knows? You never know.
You never know. Chat, you'll have to come back and check. You'll have to tune in again and see.
Just tweet at Adventure Incorporated asking about Anthony's evolution as a hip hop fan and join
right.
our Discord.
Yeah. Join the Discord. That's the place.
That's the place to have that conversation.
discord.gg/chickenflip.
That's not what it is.
It is. That's the place to go.
Anthony.
I did not pull that one up. I'm sorry.
No, that's not what the link is. Just find us on Twitter. The link is in our Twitter. You can join us that way.
Yes.
If you type discord.gg/chickenflip, you will not join our Discord.
But you'll be pretty close.
Oh.
You'll be like right next door.
Yeah, you'll join someone else's Discord. Maybe.
Probably not. I mean, I don't think Chicken Flip is actually one of their codes, but it's pretty close to our code. It's like it's right nearby.
Can you make custom codes?
I don't know.
Be just, honestly, it might just be worth it
to pay a little extra and get Chicken Flip.
Just like when you tell people to do that, it'll actually take them there.
I know, but I kind of just love it anyway.
I wonder why people don't join our Discord.
I don't know, but head over to discord.gg/chickenflip and find out. I wonder if we could probably just redirect adventuringpod.com/chickenflip to the Discord link.
Definitely.
All right, great. I
So
feel like this was very productive.
Absolutely. I love it. I think the Anthony music education has only just begun.
Yeah.
It may have also just ended.
I learned a lot of history tonight. A lot of very important history, and gave my opinion on it without any context, which is two of my favorite things.
I was gonna say, honestly, that's a dream situation for both of us. So I get it.
Amazing. Well, hey, one more time, tell people, in addition to Chicken Flip, where they can find you, follow you, listen to your wonderful voices.
Adventuringpod.com. You will hear both of us at adventuringpod.com. There are it's a Dungeons and Dragons podcast, or a legally distinct. No, it's not that distinct. It's legally connected to the dungeon, but we are not an official. I don't know what I have to say legally, but I'll tell you this: we play a game. There's a long story. It's a lot of fun. It's really, really intense at parts. It's funny at parts. It's sad at parts. And we almost sometimes roll dice. And you'll enjoy it if you enjoy those sorts of things. So come and check it out. Mike is a part of the cast. Steph in the chat is part of the cast, and Swan has been in a recent episode. So there's a lot to love.
And I draw fan art from it. From time
it's
to time.
true.
It's amazing.
It's incredible.
And I could not be more thrilled when she does. So that's the one I'm on. And then Mike also does 5 other things. So I'll just throw it to him.
Yeah, find me at futurexskeleton across the internet. It's probably the easiest way to do things. I cover our local Austin FC MLS soccer team, and we talk about how cute the boys are and what their outfits are like and who their friends are. My wife and I do that. She's Kruggles in the chat. We also are every other Wednesday on twitch.tv/inaddpod. We do a show with Swan and Tony P in the chat where we talk about stuff. Every week is different. And next week, continuing this music theme, Swan is asking us to name the 5 songs that make us who we are. And so, watch us yell about music for at least a half hour next week. There's other stuff that I do, and I'm not remembering it.
Those are the big ones.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm going to be in a play in Austin, Texas.
Yeah!
So if you're here, come see it. I'm actually in 2 plays this year. Between now and June, I will have been in 2 different Shakespeare plays because my wife and I are crazy. And so if you find yourself in the Austin area anytime in the month of April or during Memorial Day weekend, come out and see us and hang out, and we will like party, and it'll be awesome. So
Hell
that's
yeah.
the other thing that we're doing.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. You can also tune into this channel if you like Shakespeare, because Kruggle's in chat and I do sketching Shakespeare. So once a month, she brings me a piece of prose and I illustrate a comic based on it. So another one where I'm getting maybe just a little bit different description about what's happening in the scene, but same premise basically. You can also follow me across the internet at a swan named Emily. If you want to see more of Doodle Crew, we're at Doodle Crew Draw. Like we said at the top, this is episode 19 of season 3. We have one more episode and then we will be concluding season 3 and going on hiatus for a bit. But you can still see the amazing art from all the amazing people who contribute to this show. We're on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. If you want to find out more about the people who have been on this show before, we have a link tree of all of theirs. You can find them, support them, ask them for commissions, all of these amazing things. If you have ideas, if you'd like to see more of this or more of something else, hit us up and let us know. And thank y'all so much. Yes, Mike.
I just want to thank all the listeners and viewers for watching episode 11 of Doodle Crew.
Yes, Anthony.
Yeah, if you have, again, fake Amazon Prime money to throw at Swan, you should do that. And if you have real human dollars to throw at Swan, you should do that. Both of those things are important. She does really cool stuff on this channel, so support it.
Thank y'all. Thank you, everyone. Goodbye.